40,000. That's how many people watched Unrivaled's opening night. Compare that to Caitlin Clark's playoff games that drew over 3 million viewers. Yet, Nafisa Collier had the audacity to go on live TV and claim her league has figured out sustainable women's basketball, while the WNBA hasn't. The math doesn't add up. The ratings don't support it, and fans aren't buying what she's selling. These numbers tell the real story about who's driving women's basketball forward. While Collier throws stones at WNBA leadership and saying they don't need stars like Caitlin Clark, her own league is hemorrhaging viewers faster than you can say conflict of interest. Do you think Unrivaled will fold soon? Let us know down in the comments below. Make no mistake, these ratings are trash without even having to see the overall viewers. The 18 to 49 lets me know I've been doing this long enough. Lets me know all these ratings are dog. Unrivaled walked into this season with big promises. The league marketed itself as the future of women's basketball with its fast-paced 3-on-3 format and roster of established stars. Collier and her partners talked about creating something the WNBA couldn't deliver. They positioned their league as the next evolution of the game. The marketing pushed hard on star power and competitive play that would capture audiences, even if the biggest stars in the game, such as Caitlin Clark, decided it was not worth her time. Then the numbers just dropped. Opening night brought in 40,000 viewers in the key demographic. That's not a typo. 40,000 people tuned in to watch what was supposed to be revolutionary basketball. You can almost hear the collective gulp from investors who poured money into this venture. The viewership fell so far short of expectations that it became impossible to ignore. This Breeze Phantom game on TNT is 0.04. And guys, in case you're wondering what this is, that's 40,000 people. That's 30,000. That's 20,000 in the 18 to 49 ad demographic. So when they go to give media rights contracts for leagues, they look at this because this is the number. This is the criteria that advertisers are going to pay for. They believe the most money spent is from people that are 18 years old to 49 years old. All right, and so these numbers are bad. Let's talk about what real star power looks like. Caitlin Clark's games during her rookie and sophomore seasons consistently pulled over 2 million viewers. Some games hit 3 million. Regular season Indiana Fever games featuring Clark were drawing audiences that dwarfed Unrivaled's debut by massive margins. Clark brought mainstream attention that translated into actual eyeballs on screens. The contrast becomes even more stark when you dig deeper into the metrics. Social media engagement around Clark's games generated millions of interactions. ESPN dedicated significant coverage to her performances. Sports talk shows built entire segments around her impact on the league. Meanwhile, Unrivaled struggles to generate meaningful buzz outside of basketball insider circles. So, Nafisa Collier during the Owls game. I believe she's still on the Lunar Owls. She talked to the broadcast about Unrivaled and gloated about what we're doing over here at Unrivaled. Oh yeah, sustainability. Oh really? Now okay, we have a roasting session on our hands, folks. And I didn't do the roasting, but Nisa Call, she's getting dragged through the mud with what she said yesterday. She's getting crushed online. Clark's influence extended beyond just game viewership. Her jersey sales broke WNBA records. Fever ticket prices soared throughout her campaign. Arena attendance jumped significantly whenever her team came to town. The ripple effect touched every aspect of women's basketball economics. Sponsors took notice and started writing bigger checks. Unrivaled struggles become more concerning when you consider the financial backing behind the league. This isn't some garage startup operation. The venture carries a $340 million valuation based on projections that clearly haven't materialized. Investors expected returns that would justify that massive number. Instead, they're watching viewership numbers that wouldn't impress a high school basketball coach. Number 1, there was no social media buzz for this coming back at all. Number 2, where's your stars at in this league? I mean, look, I understand the league itself is trying to ramrod Paige Beckers down everybody's throats right now. Oh my God, she's brave, stunning, and courageously playing basketball. Zero fire around her. She not bringing a she ain't bringing a motor scoot and viewer to nobody. The gap between expectation and reality tells you everything about the difference between manufactured hype and authentic star power. Clark didn't need gimmicky formats or marketing campaigns to draw viewers. Her gameplay spoke for itself. Fans tuned in because they wanted to see what she would do next. The excitement felt genuine rather than forced. Alternative leagues face an uphill battle when mainstream stars aren't involved. The 3-on-3 format might work for short entertainment bursts, but it doesn't create the compelling storylines that build lasting fandom. Casual viewers need reasons to care beyond just watching good basketball. They want narratives, rivalries, and personalities they can follow throughout a season. A 2-year 3v3 pop-up league. Please come back when Unrivaled has lasted 3 decades. You can't take her serious. It is a pop-up league. It is a pop-up league. You know, you go to the mall, and there's like a random shop one day. It's a pop-up shop. This is a pop-up league. Sustainable business in year 2. Good Lord. She sounds like someone taught her a few jargon keywords and thought they could pass her as an intelligent business. Oh no. With all due respect, you're only your 2nd year of Unrivaled, so I highly doubt you know in depth what it takes to run a sustainable business. I'm sure at some point in the future that will resonate. These numbers raise serious questions about who actually drives growth in women's basketball. The data points clearly toward players like Clark who bring new audiences into the fold. When those players aren't involved, alternative leagues struggle to maintain basic audience engagement. That reality exposes some uncomfortable truths about recent claims regarding sustainable business models. Nafisa Collier stepped in front of cameras and declared that Unrivaled had cracked the code. She talked about sustainable business models that the WNBA supposedly couldn't figure out after decades of operation. The confidence in her voice suggested she had discovered something revolutionary about women's basketball economics. Her message was clear. The old league was broken, but her new venture had all the answers. I think you've just heard a lot of chatter about, what we're asking for is not sustainable for the business. Being on this side with Unrivaled, I know what it takes to run a sustainable business. So, I think if they can't find a model that makes it happen, they need to put people in place who can, because we've proven that it is possible. There is a way and we're thriving in that. Fast forward to opening night, and those bold claims started looking pretty hollow. The viewership numbers came in at levels that would embarrass a local college game broadcast. Audience engagement dropped off cliffs that nobody saw coming. Social media buzz fizzled out faster than a wet firecracker. The sustainable business model she bragged about was hemorrhaging potential customers from day one. Critics wasted no time pointing out the obvious problems. Basketball purists called it gimmick basketball that sacrificed fundamentals for flashy plays. The 3-on-3 format created highlight moments, but couldn't sustain the kind of narrative tension that keeps fans coming back week after week. Casual viewers tuned out because they couldn't connect with teams or storylines that felt artificially manufactured. This sustainability comment from Nafisa Collier the other day talking about how stable the Unrivaled is and the WNBA should really take note of. That, Cole, being on this side with Unrivaled, I know what it takes to run a sustainable business. So, I think if you can't find a model that makes that happen, we need to put people in place who can. And of course, after seeing these ratings now, you got to be joking. This is why she was getting destroyed the other day, because everybody knew. Everybody was anticipating. The format works fine for entertainment purposes, during all-star weekends or summer exhibitions, but building an entire league around it presents challenges that become apparent quickly. Traditional basketball creates natural drama through season-long arcs, playoff races, and individual achievement chases. The shortened format strips away much of that compelling storytelling framework that drives long-term fan investment. While her league struggled to find its footing, Collier started making claims about women's basketball growth that didn't match reality. She positioned herself and other veteran players as the foundation builders who deserved credit for recent popularity surges. The narrative suggested that established stars like her had laid groundwork that was finally paying dividends across the sport. No, nobody even in here cares. And I wouldn't be surprised if those people that came and just got handed free tickets. Wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. We got to make this look good. Is if you walk through the door, here's your free ticket. Here's your free ticket. If you come into the state of Florida, everybody traveling to the state of Florida is getting a free Unrivaled ticket. And they couldn't even fill up the building. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. The timeline doesn't support that version of events. Women's basketball saw its most dramatic growth spike when Clark burst onto the scene and brought mainstream attention that had been missing for years. New fans flocked to games specifically to watch her play. Television ratings jumped to levels nobody had seen before. Merchandise sales exploded around her presence in the league. The WNBA's biggest audience gains happened precisely when Clark's star power reached its peak during her first 2 seasons. Those weren't gradual increases built on existing foundations. They were sudden jumps that coincided directly with her impact on the sport. The correlation was impossible to ignore for anyone looking at the data objectively. Let's be for real here, right? Unrivaled is so sustainable that they can't even attract the best players. But they couldn't even retain the other players. They couldn't attract Asia. They couldn't attract Caitlyn season 1. And they can't retain Angel. And they can't retain Sabrina season 2, but it's sustainable. We're losing stars. We're losing star. But it's oh no, sustain. They play all their games out of the same location. They train in the same location. Overhead is clearly much smaller. Is she being serious? Collier's sustainable business model was failing the most basic test that any entertainment venture faces. You have to attract viewers first before you can worry about keeping them engaged long-term. Her league couldn't even clear that initial hurdle despite all the marketing hype and financial backing behind the launch. The disconnect between her confident predictions and actual performance reveals how far removed she had become from understanding what fans actually want. Success requires more than just good basketball players and innovative formats. You need genuine star power that transcends the sport itself and brings new audiences into the fold. I mean, come on. Let's be honest. You got WNBA games on NBA TV that are bringing for 100,000, 3 times the amount of 500,000, 800,000 real viewers. And then some could argue even at that, that's not great. So that's why this comment, I made a video on this. We won't go through it again, but Nijia Collier got destroyed over these comments. Absolutely crushed in the dust. Nfe Collier holds the title of WNBA Vice President while running her own competing basketball league. That dual role creates problems that go way beyond simple conflicts of interest. She sits at the negotiating table supposedly fighting for all WNBA players while simultaneously promoting a business venture that directly competes with their employer. The ethical implications become impossible to ignore when you see how she handles these competing loyalties. Her responsibilities as vice president include representing every player's interest during crucial contract negotiations. The WNBA expects her to advocate for better working conditions, higher salaries, and improved revenue-sharing arrangements with league management. Players trust her to put their collective welfare ahead of personal considerations when making decisions that affect hundreds of careers. Instead of maintaining that professional distance, Collier went on television and declared that the WNBA has the worst leadership in the world. She made these statements while actively promoting her own league as the superior alternative. The timing wasn't accidental or poorly planned. These comments came during active CBA negotiations when the WNBA needed unified messaging and strong advocacy. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. How entitled can you be? How ignorant do you have to be to go on national television and brag about a business that is losing money? Not only are you bragging about an unprofitable business, you're also telling the commissioner of another unprofitable business how to lose more money. Her public criticism focused on business model failures and leadership incompetence within the WNBA structure. She argued that Unrivaled had proven sustainable approaches work, while the established league continued making the same mistakes. Every attack on WNBA leadership served dual purposes, undermining the league she was supposed to support while building credibility for her competing venture. The CBA negotiations happening during this period involved crucial revenue-sharing discussions that could impact player salaries for years to come. League management was already skeptical about player demands for larger pieces of growing television and sponsorship revenues. Having their own vice president publicly questioning leadership competence weakened the WNBA's bargaining position significantly. Collier's attacks on league management made it harder for other player representatives to maintain credible negotiations. How do you demand better treatment from leaders you've just called the worst in professional sports? The mixed messaging created confusion about what players actually wanted from these talks. Like I have been telling you guys since Caitlin Clark came into the league, the success of Caitlin Clark came at the worst time for the WNBA. Because her success, it gave the illusion that the entire WNBA was successful. Caitlin Clark gave the illusion that people are watching pretend basketball when the reality is, people are watching Caitlin Clark. If you don't believe me, go ask Angel Ree. As a result, it gave already entitled WNBA players a massive boost to entitlement. The ethical problems extend beyond just negotiating tactics. Players who disagreed with her approach had limited options for challenging someone in such a powerful position. Younger players especially felt pressure to stay quiet rather than question leadership that controlled their union representation. The power dynamics made honest discussion about these conflicts nearly impossible. Revenue-sharing deals being negotiated during this time represented the WNBA's best opportunity to capitalize on recent growth and provide meaningful salary increases. The league needed unified player leadership to push for aggressive terms that reflected basketball's expanding popularity. Instead, internal conflicts and competing loyalties weakened their position. Collier's business interests clearly benefit when the WNBA struggles with labor relations and public perception problems. Every criticism she makes of league leadership helps justify her alternative league's existence. Players watching these dynamics unfold recognize that her advocacy feels more like calculated business strategy than genuine representation. The pattern reveals why her criticism carries an edge that legitimate advocacy typically doesn't have. She's not just pushing for improvements within the existing system. She's actively working to replace that system with one she owns and controls. I wanted to know just how sustainable 3&3 pretend basketball was. Because if the WNBA isn't a sustainable business with the backing of the most popular basketball league in the world, and with the star power of a once-in-a-lifetime draw like Caitlin Clark, if the original dump, if they're not sustainable, there is absolutely no way that Unrivaled is making money, right? Basketball fans saw right through Collier's strategy, and they weren't having any of it. Social media platforms exploded with criticism directed at her attacks on the WNBA during what should have been a celebration of the league's growth. Twitter threads broke down exactly how her comments undermined progress that took years to achieve. Instagram posts called out the obvious conflict between her union role and business interests. TikTok videos mocked the failed ratings of her league compared to Clark's impact. The fan response revealed something important about who people actually consider the future of women's basketball. Clark's name dominated discussions about where the sport was heading. Fans talked about Lexie Hall's defense and how her chemistry with Clark creates exciting possibilities. Aaliyah Boston's defensive presence gets mentioned as a cornerstone piece for championship runs. Kelsey Mitchell's scoring ability generates genuine excitement about offensive firepower. Sophie Cunningham's competitive edge represents the kind of player fans want to see succeed. These players embody what fans actually want from women's basketball. Young talent that improves every season. Authentic team chemistry that creates compelling storylines. Players who embrace the spotlight rather than trying to tear down others who found it first. The contrast with Collier's approach couldn't be more obvious to anyone paying attention. Fan backlash focused specifically on how Collier was trying to rewrite recent history. You look at Caitlin Clark, the Wilson basketball selling like hotcakes. The Kobe P's selling like hotcakes. The Barbie selling like hotcakes. The action figures selling like hotcakes. The Funko Pop selling like hotcakes. Merchandise selling like hotcakes. T-shirts selling like hotcakes. It's not the same case with everybody else. And now the latest company to just take money and throw it down the drain is a company I grew up with. It's a company I grew up with. I think many of us had these. Paige Becker signs a deal with Lego as she prepares to be the next signature athlete. People remembered exactly when WNBA popularity surged and who deserved credit for bringing new audiences to the sport. Comments sections filled with reminders about television ratings before and after Clark's arrival. Fans posted attendance figures that showed the dramatic increases during her rookie campaign. The evidence was overwhelming, and supporters weren't letting anyone forget it. The 2026 Fever season represents everything fans are genuinely excited about. A young core that's still improving. Chemistry between players that feels natural rather than manufactured. Authentic growth built on actual performance rather than manufactured controversy. Fans see this as the blueprint for sustainable success that doesn't require tearing down existing structures. Collier's attempts to sabotage the league only made fans more protective of the genuine progress they witnessed. Every attack on WNBA. Leadership strengthened fan resolve to support the league through this crucial growth period. People recognized that authentic success requires building something positive rather than destroying what already works. The choice became clear to anyone watching these dynamics play out. One path leads towards sustainable growth built on real star power and compelling basketball. The other leads toward failed experiments and conflicts of interest that benefit nobody except league owners looking for quick profits. Well, we look at Caitlin Clark. Her WNBA debut averaged 12 million viewers. And ESPN was smart. They said, I want that game. That game, that Caitlin Clark WNBA debut. I want that game on my platform. ESPN was looking at this season. It's 2025. Who's got their WNBA debut? Anybody that we want. No. Nobody that we want NBA debut. We'll pass on that. But they saw Caitlin Clark and they said, oh no, we got to get in on that. 12 million viewers on ESPN. Fan loyalty gravitated toward players and teams focused on building the WNBA's future, rather than trying to replace it with inferior alternatives. The backlash proved that authentic star power will always triumph over manufactured controversy. When fans choose sides, they pick substance over sabotage every single time. The math doesn't lie. 40,000 viewers versus 3 million viewers tells you everything about who drives women's basketball forward. Collier's conflict of interest destroyed her credibility, while her failed league proved that authentic star power beats manufactured controversy every time. The real future belongs to Caitlin Clark and the Fever Core. They're building something genuine instead of tearing down what actually works. Hull, Boston, Mitchell, and Cunningham represent everything fans want from this sport. Real talent, authentic chemistry, and players who embrace growth rather than sabotage it. Fans chose their side already. They picked substance over sabotage. Do you think Unrivaled will fold soon? Let us know down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next